It didn't feel like a dangerous decision. Not at the time. It wasn't something that stood out. Not something that felt risky or unusual. It was just a choice. The kind people make every day without thinking twice. A road that looked faster. A path that seemed easier. A shortcut, something meant to save time. And that's exactly why this story is so unsettling, because nothing about that moment felt important, but it changed everything. This is the story of the Death Valley Germans, a real case that still leaves people asking the same question. How can something so simple go so wrong? In 1996, a group of travelers set out on a journey through California. They weren't explorers in the extreme sense. They weren't trying to survive something impossible. They were just traveling, moving through places they hadn't seen before, relying on maps, instincts, and decisions made along the way. At the beginning, everything felt normal. The road stretched out ahead, open, quiet, predictable. The kind of environment where nothing feels urgent, where every decision feels small, manageable, safe. But somewhere along that route, they made a choice, a simple one, to take a shortcut. Maybe it was suggested by a map. Maybe it looked like a quicker route. Or maybe it just felt right at the time. And that's how it usually happens, not with a warning, but with a decision that seems completely harmless. The road they chose wasn't like the main highway. It wasn't maintained in the same way. It was rougher, less defined, stretching into an environment that doesn't forgive mistakes. Because once you leave the main road, you leave behind certainty and enter something else, something quieter, something more isolated. At first, it probably didn't feel dangerous, just different. The terrain changed slowly, the road becoming uneven, less clear, but still passable, until it wasn't. Because eventually, their vehicle stopped, not because they chose to stop, but because it couldn't continue. And that's the moment everything shifts. Because now, you're no longer traveling. You're stranded. Now imagine that moment, sitting inside a vehicle, in the middle of nowhere. No clear road ahead, no easy way back. Silence around you, and the realization that you're stuck. At that point, you still have options. Stay with the vehicle. Wait, conserve energy. Or leave, try to find help. And that decision is everything. Because once you leave behind the only thing that connects you to rescue. The vehicle was later found. Abandoned, quiet, no signs of panic. No damage suggesting struggle, just left, as if they stepped away, believing they would return. But they didn't. And that's when the mystery begins. Because the people inside were gone. No immediate clues, no clear direction, just absence. Search efforts began. People looking across the landscape, trying to find tracks, trying to find signs, trying to understand what happened. But the desert doesn't make things easy. It hides details. It erases movement, and it stretches further than you expect. Day after day, nothing. No clear path, no clear answer. And slowly, the search faded, because without direction, finding something becomes almost impossible. But the story didn't end there. Because time reveals things, not all at once, but slowly. Years later, remains were found, scattered across the landscape, separated, far from where the vehicle had been left. And that's when the questions became even harder to answer, because the distance didn't make sense, the direction didn't make sense. It suggested movement, but not in a clear way, as if they were searching, but without knowing where to go. Because in environments like that, something happens, something that isn't obvious at first. The heat, the dehydration, the silence, they don't just affect your body, they affect your mind. Your thinking changes, your decisions shift. What feels logical may not be. What feels like the right direction may take you further away. And once that happens, it becomes difficult to correct. Because every step forward takes energy, and energy runs out. The desert doesn't rush. It doesn't react. It simply exists. And if you're not prepared for it, it becomes overwhelming. Because there is no shade, no easy water, no clear landmarks, just distance. Endless distance. It's possible they believed they were heading toward safety, toward a road, toward help. But instead, They were moving deeper, further away from where they started. And in that kind of environment, that matters, because every wrong step makes the next one harder. And eventually, the body reaches its limit. Fatigue sets in, strength fades, and movement becomes slower, more difficult, until it stops. And that's what makes this story so powerful, because it wasn't one moment, not one mistake, but a series of decisions, each one small, each one understandable, each one leading somewhere else. Because at the beginning, it was just a shortcut, and at the end, it was something completely different, something final. Even now, questions remain. Why did they leave the vehicle? Why not stay? What were they thinking in those final moments? Because we like to believe that we would make the right choice, that we would stay. Wait, but when you're there, in that silence, in that heat, in that uncertainty, your thinking changes. And sometimes, you move, even when staying would have saved you. And that's the part that stays with people. Not just what happened, but how easily it could happen. Because it doesn't start with danger. It starts with something simple. A decision, a shortcut, a moment that feels small, until it isn't. And if this story makes you pause, even for a second, that's because it should. Because it reminds us that not all danger is obvious. Sometimes it looks like a normal choice. And sometimes that choice changes everything. If you want more stories like this, real stories, powerful stories, the kind that stay in your mind long after they're over, then stay here, because the next story might feel just as real and just as unsettling.